Okay, so on youtube.com/codetap/playlists, this is the URL, youtube.com/codetap/playlists. You can find all the content organized, and this list over here contains all the steps that if you follow, you arrive to the current place, the current position in our project. So let's get back to our project. Let me arrange the windows a bit while I make sure that all the windows are in place. Please drop a comment in the comment section and let me know where you're from. Okay, so this is one and this is the other one. Okay, so we'll quickly start with our project by creating in the component folder. We'll create a new one, new folder, and call it experience. Let's also select this word and copy it and then hit enter. And inside this experience folder, let's create a new file, experience.pug, and another one, experience.scss. Okay, and let's wire those two files into the project. So let's go back to index.pug and let's select this line, press Alt-Shift down arrow, select what I can do, press Ctrl-D and paste in the experience. So I'm teaching you shortcuts too. Okay, and let's go into stylus CSS. With the cursor on that line, Alt-Shift down arrow, select the what I can do and paste the experience in. So right now the SCSS main file will load the experience SCSS and the index will load the experience pug, this one over here. Let's close this index.pug file, we don't need it for the moment, and this one too. And in here we want to have our model or our data, and soon after that we want to have our view or presentation. So in here let's start with JavaScript, and in pug we start with a dash and the next line we indent it, and we'll say var header equals experience. Okay, and in here let's create firstly a div with the ID of experience and another div with the class of experience, and inside it we want to create another div with the ID of with the class of experience header, and the value of it should be this variable. So this one from over here is over here. Let's save it, and if we scroll a bit down we can see that this is the experience tab. Soon after that we want to create an experience list. So this would be var experience list equals, and we open an array, we initialize an empty array. Okay, and inside this array we want to create an object with a title. Let me show you what we want to create again, so we don't let's maybe be okay. So we scroll a bit down over here. So this would be the title, this white text over here, and this one over here, and this one over here. And inside, when we expand it, we have a date. So the starting and ending date of your current position or some other past experience you had. Then we also want to have the company that you worked for, and then a bunch of responsibilities that you had at that company. Okay, so let's create an object, and we've mentioned that it should have a title, and then we should also have a date and the company, and also a list of responsibilities. And since it's a list, we'll initialize an empty array, and let's put a few of them. Responsibility 1, and then 2, and then 3. So this is the basic structure of our experience list. Okay, let's collapse this. So I've already prepared some content, so let's make this look a bit more nicer. So I'll just copy paste some content in unicorn trainer. The year is in the future. I've also worked at the Galaxy headquarters, and my responsibilities were to do lots of Galaxy chores. Okay, so this is the first object. Okay, so let's add at least well, a couple of them, not too many. I think 2 more should be enough for our purpose. So I'll just copy paste some content that I've already prepared. However, it's another object with a title, data, company, and responsibility list. Okay, and let's format it. Yeah, that should be fine. And almost there. Almost there. Yeah. And then this one. Now it looks nicer. So we got 1, 2, 3 objects inside. Each of them has some data. Now let's create a list. Okay, let's first print our header, because this is the one over here. We've already done it. So soon after the header, let's loop through the list. The list name is experience list. So let's say each experience in experience list, and let's go back to our local project, which currently only has this printed out. Okay, and we want to print the experience title, div with the class of experience title for the moment, and the value of it would be this title. Okay, so each time we loop through the list, we get this object, and then this object, and so on, and this object. So each object has a title, a data, and a company, and an experience list. So this one would be experience.title. So right now we can see that we have printed Unicorn Trainer, Superstar HTML, CSS, and Web Developer, which are over here: Unicorn Trainer, Superstar HTML and CSS, and Web Developer. By the way, guys, a quick reminder, at the end of this video will be questions and answers time, so keep your questions for the end of the video and stay tuned. Okay, so on top of this, we want to create a CSS trick, and let me illustrate here in a comment how this would look. So in here we want to have an input, and then we want to have a controlled container, a div or whatever. Okay, so using the CSS sibling selector, the +1, so it's this one over here. Using the +1, we combined with the check state of the input, we can toggle some properties. So if this input is not checked, we can define some properties for the next element that follows after him at the same level. So notice that they are at the same level. This controlled container would not be like that. It would be like a sibling of it, like a brother. Okay, so it will be at the same level, and at the same time it must be exactly the next element that the CSS selects. So if the input is not checked, then this can have one style, or if the input is checked, then this can have a different style applied. Let's go and have fun. Okay. So right now we want to add here after the title, so actually before the title, let's do an input and add a class to it, experience input, and this would be type radio, and the name of it, actually let's omit the name for the moment and let's see what happens, and save it. So you can see that we have some bullets over here. Those are the radio ones. However, if we click on them, we can see that all of them can be selected, right? That's because they are not grouped. So to group input type radios, we need to add a name for all of them. Name my experience. Okay, so now when we save it, if we click one of them, that's selected, and when we click the next one, that one will become selected. Let me quickly inspect this and open it in separate window. So you can see we have the experience with the name my experience. This one has the same name and this one has the same name. So therefore, all of the inputs that have the same name as an attribute will be grouped into the same group. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so if we are to convert, let's go back and let's click this unicorn trainer. If we click the unicorn trainer or superstar, nothing happens. See? Now, if we convert this into a label and save it and bring back the debugger, we can see that now there is a label instead of a div with the class experience title. If we click on it, we still don't see anything happening. And now we want to link this label with this input. And we do that by matching the label for attribute with the ID of the input. Now, since the ID in any HTML file must be unique, if we declare it just like the name, then it will be repeated for all the inputs. And what we want to do is add a comma here and say ID equals, and those two are ticks, so they are not single quotes, they are ticks. You usually find them next to the 1 on the keyboard, to the 1 key. And let's call this experience ID, and if we save it right now, let's see what happens. So you see it has the experience ID with hyphens, which is the same as this one and the same as this one. So an easy way to make this unique is to also make pug return the key. So when we look through the experience list, we return this key. So if we are to add this key over here and inside JavaScript, the latest JavaScript, in order to evaluate the key inside the literal operator, or anyway, inside those ticks, we do a dollar followed by curly braces, and inside it we paste this key. So now let's see again what happened. So now you can see that this has the ID experience ID 0, this one has the ID experience ID 1, and this one experience ID 2. So we made them unique now, and all we have to do right now is match this ID to the for label, for attribute of the label. So over here, let's say, maybe over here, no, not there, sorry, just after the class. Instead of the ID, we say for. Okay, so now they should be matched. Let's inspect it and see that we have the for matching the experience ID. That means that if we are to click on the unicorn trainer, this input has been selected. If we click on the superstar, the other one has been selected. However, something went wrong. Let's see. What went wrong? We no longer have the name. Somehow I messed up and removed the name. So let me put that back. Name equals same name. Okay. So if we click on the unicorn trainer, then superstar. So now I click on the label and the input gets selected because we matched the label for attribute to the input ID attribute. So those two are one and the same, therefore the label is linked to the input. Now another thing to keep in mind for later on, whenever you'll be using on your own projects, is that the input can be linked to multiple labels. So you could have one label here and one label here, both of them targeting the same input. In case you wanna, well, you can have even more of them. You can have 10 if needed, but I don't see any example of needing 10 of them. Anyway, it's not a one-to-one relation, it's a one-to-many. So the input could be linked to one or more labels. In our case, we only need one. Okay, so now those ones are working just nicely. And if we are to add more details, we will in a moment. However, we need a way to reset this unicorn trainer, because once we select it, there's no way to unselect it, right? So let's make for the moment another input. And how is the chat going, Graziella? Guys, feel free to drop a comment there and just say, I'm from London, UK, or from wherever you are. Let me know where you're from, so in the future I can prepare better, or at least I can set an hour that fits better for all of us. So drop a comment, and I would encourage you, Graziella, to start. So you can drop a comment with London, UK. Okay, so right now we want to have a way to reset this. So let's make another label here. Bell label equals, let's just do times. Okay, so now I can see that we have times here. And if we are to add an and a semicolon after it, you can see that now it's like an X. So when we click this X, we want this to be unselected. Alright, so if any of those ones are selected, when we click this X, we want it to be unselected. To do that, let's create another input. and this would be a separate input than this list. Let's also move it outside because we don't want it to be in the loop. So input type equals radio, name equals same name, and let's also add an ID to it, and ID equals experience, the default value, so experience default. Okay, and to match this label to this, let's match it to its for attribute. Okay, so now when you click on this X, this one will be selected, right? Okay, so let's also do just a simple magic trick over here, which we'll remove in a moment. Style equals display none. Okay, so right now you can see this X. If we select this one, it's selected, or this one is selected. When we click the label, this one gets deselected. So although we can't see this this input that is hidden gets selected, and it looks like it's unselecting this one. Okay, so let's remove the display none from the inline style. I just wanted to show you that how it works. Okay, and let's add some more details into this page. So we want to add the data somehow. Yeah, so we want to add the data, company, and the responsibility list inside. So what would be the details of each experience that you have? So let's go back here and do a div with the class of experience, and inside here let's add okay, so this part over here. So experience details, let's call this experience top. And inside here we have the experience date and experience company. Okay, experience date and experience company. Okay, so this experience date and company are present in this variable over here. So let's holding Alt and clicking both places starts the multi-line editor. So now we can edit in both lines at the same time. So let's do equal experience dot, one is date and then the other one is company. So if we scroll down, not this one, this one, we can see that we also have the Galaxy headquarters, the Super Facebook's, what's Super Facebook? Okay, I should come up with a better name over here. Super codetap, because it's twice. Yeah. So, and what about the date? So this one has a date, this one has a date, and this one has a data. No, it's not data, it's that is date. Okay. Date, yeah. So now I have the date and the date and the date. So now all our content but the experience, the responsibility list is present. So let's do here experience. This one is a list, right? So let's call it a list. and inside it we say each responsibility in experience, and the property of it is the list itself, this one. So let's just copy it in experience dot responsibility list. Yeah, and we'll generate an experience responsibility with the value of this one. So now we see that we have the title, which is Unicorn Trainer. Then we have the date, we have the Galaxy headquarters. We also have the details. And basically, this is the entire structure that will be starting to style it quite soon, and will be finishing to style it in the next lesson. This is our structure rendered into HTML. So we have the experience details, one of them. Inside we have the experience top with the date and the company. Then we have an experience list and a bunch of experience responsibilities. And all of it, if we collapse it, there is this input, and at the same level there is a label with experience title and another label with experience details. So we'll be using that CSS trick that I've mentioned earlier to style them and make them visible or not. Right now, let's do a quick CSS. So we want to hide the experience details, all of them. So let's do experience details, display none. So now we are back to this scenario, or we can only see this, and we want to show the experience details that is next to an input that is checked. Okay, so let's see if we do experience input checked, and then let's see how we select the next one. So we want to select with plus the experience title, and then with plus again the experience details. So plus experience title plus experience details, and we say display and the initial value inherit. Okay, so now we can see that if we click on this X, nothing is shown. So it's this scenario when only the titles are shown. So over here, only the titles are shown. As soon as you click on a title, we see the contents of it. Just as over here, as soon as you click on a title, we see the contents of it. And then when we click on the next title, we see the contents of the next title. And then we click on this one, we see the contents of this. Bear in mind, this is quite small to see on the screen. However, when we'll be styling it in the next lesson, we'll see it a bit bigger, and it will look a lot more nicer. So with that said, this is what we've done for the moment, for the current lesson. Let's go into the source control, stage all of our changes, and add a nice message. Create the structure of experience section, comma section, and initialize the basic CSS trick to show the accordion. Okay, let's commit it by clicking on this button, and sync it to the web. So guys, prepare for the questions and answers if you have any of them. While you do prepare and while we look for any questions, I'll show you where that synchronization arrived. So if we go on github.com/codetap.io/mycv, we can see that our commit that we've just did, create the structure of experience section and initialize the basics, is present in here. So this is what we've done today. We've created this data, we've looped through it and applied to this template, and we've generated this navigation, the basics of an accordion, where you can click on a title and something, the contents are shown. We've created these basics using Pure CSS3 and HTML5. Again, I'll leave this youtube.com/codetap/playlists for anyone interested to visit this project and recreate it step by step. Okay, now let's see. Cool, Git. Hello, AGSE and Levi. Hi, guys. No one is asking questions. That means that either you know everything or you got nothing. Let's hope you know a lot, because that will make me happy. Any questions, guys? I'll wait a couple of minutes, and if not, I'll wrap it up and I'll see you in the next lesson tomorrow night. Okay. For the latecomers, let me walk you through. This is what we've started to build so far in all our online lessons. We've built the landing page of our online CV, where you can click on your social media links, and if you click on the link that is revealed, you can go to the page that is linked to it. You can also click this close button. So now you could recognize the similarity between this navigation and the accordion that we've just did. So now you can close it. We've also built the About Me section, and we've learned how to create from a normal image a rounded one, a circle one, and also add multiple borders using CSS3 tricks. We've also created a bunch of buttons. One is a link that takes you to the GitHub project, and the other ones, when you click on them, you can download the online resume. Then we've played with more loops to create this award section using different colors and icons. This could as well be more like a list of hobbies you have, or any other idea that you want to output over here. And then we've followed it by outputting a list of skills, a list of abilities that we are good at. And right now we just build the experience section, which you can navigate by selecting the title, and also collapse all of them. In the next lesson we'll be starting. Well, Razvan, this is a very good question. Why do we need to make fast web pages? Is that really important? Well, I'll briefly answer this. When a normal user visits a web page, if the web page is loading very fast, there will be no pain for him. He'll just continue browsing the web and the experience will be nice. When he has to wait for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds until something happens on the web page, frustration starts to kick in. Now this happens for almost everybody on this planet. Therefore, search engines like Google know about it, and Google penalizes pages that don't load quickly and gives, let's say, good points to the ones that load very quickly. Since Google wants every user to be happy about the experience of browsing the web, he will favor and put on top of the ones that load slower, the ones that load quicker. This is not the main factor, it's one of the factors that Google takes into consideration when you're searching for something, and when you're searching the web and the results kick in. So you would want to have a very fast web page and a very quick page to load if you want to sit on top of competitors that have the same content and well, have the same, let's say, web page as you. Yours will win if you have a quicker one. If the user is happy, Google will be happy, therefore you'll be happy too. That's the reason. Nobody wants to sit and wait for something slow to load. Except now, there's no exception. Especially in 2017 and soon to be 2018. With those, this current technology and this current speed, everybody expects things to just be very snappy. Okay. By the way, just for you to know, this is another bonus. So QuickBlog is our next project that we'll be building, and we'll get to it quite soon, in less than a week. So if we go on the About page of QuickBlog, I have this, over here a screenshot of the timings that it takes to load and render the page. So if you follow those tutorials, you'll get to load the web page faster than you can blink. So the human eye can blink between 300 and 400 milliseconds. You can build pages or web pages that load and render faster than you can blink. And this would be a very good selling point towards any client if you're going freelance, or towards any employer if you're looking for a job. So my resume, if we search for Google page speed, and we visit page speed insights and we paste this URL, the project that we've just built, we can see that Google gives it a score of 100 of 100 on both mobile and desktop. So two strong, very, very strong selling points for either clients or employers that you want to get in a relationship with. That's why you want to build very fast web pages. To stand out in front of other web developers that are competing for the same clients or employers. Any other questions? You're welcome, Razvan. One more minute, guys, and if no more questions, I'll be wrapping this up. No AGSE, it's not made with the A tag. So far we've only used the divs, inputs and labels. So the trick in HTML5, or HTML not 5, the trick in HTML 4 or 5 or whatever, is that we click on the label, because later on we'll be hiding those radio inputs. They look ugly in our setup. However, they'll still be present in HTML, just hidden. So the trick is to click on the label content, like this text over here, and activate the input type radio. So in order to do that, let me bump the font size up a bit. In order to link the label to the input, we add the same value for the ID attribute of the input and the for attribute of label. So if those two have the same value, then this label would be linked to this input. The same goes over here. This input and this label are both of them linked. So when you click on unicorn trainer in the browser, this one gets either checked or unchecked. So it receives a state just like you would click directly on it. However, when we hide it, you can no longer click on it, so therefore we link it with the label. Once an input changes state from checked to unchecked or from unchecked to checked, the next siblings can be targeted. So for example, this label can be targeted, or if this input changes state, this label or this div can be targeted, and based on the checked state, it could be, let's say, hidden or shown. So this is the trick that we're doing. Linking labels with inputs, and based on the check state, we do something about the next siblings of them. Okay, let's see. By the way, a GSC in the last lesson of this tutorial, building the online resume, will be using something similar to the A tag that we've mentioned and create this navigation menu. So if we click on this, it jumps to the bottom of the web page. Then you can click on home, and then we can click back on the menu and click back on the click on the about, and it jumps to the about. Back on the menu, jumps to the bottom, and then click on the award, jumps to the award. So this is done similarly with the A tags. There is a scenario with A name. This is very, very similar to that. It uses a similar concept to the A tags to jump within the page without the need of using JavaScript. Cool, guys. So I'll be wrapping this up. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and like and share on Facebook. On YouTube, I'll be posting the content in 4K of this lesson. So if you have a nice TV or a nice monitor, you can watch in crisp and sharp quality. Thank you for watching again. You've been amazing. Create something awesome, and happy coding.